1982. He was arrested soon after and sentenced to 10 years. He was released on parole after 3. In 1977, he started robbing banks again, becoming increasingly violent with each robbery. Then, in late 1977, he shot and crippled a security guard standing outside a Sydney bank with no provocation or warning. He'd been arrested and placed on remand in Long Bay Jail while awaiting trial. Not long afterwards, Mullen and another inmate staged a violent escape, bashing a building contractor and stealing his vehicle. Since then, Mullen had been moving between Queensland, New South Wales and Western Australia, using several stolen identities and funding his lifestyle with armed robberies. He was a skilled bushman and spent long periods living in the scrub, always managing to keep one step ahead of the police. His abandoned campsites were often found with weapons stashed nearby. On the 2nd of July 1987, Mullen robbed a Suncorp bank in Toombul shopping town. As he was making his getaway, he was tackled by a brave passerby. They wrestled for control of a sawn-off Ruger Mini 14 .223 caliber rifle, but Mullen got the upper hand and fled. He took the rifle with him, leaving almost $30,000 in a bag on the footpath. That night, in a display of astounding naivety, the passerby was interviewed on television. His full name and the suburb he lived in were broadcast. Harry explained that Mullen was living at 38 Walter Street, Virginia, with his de facto partner, Susan Teresa Clark, and her 2 sons. Clark was his accomplice and driver in the armed robberies. The information had come from a 67-year-old woman employed as a part-time nanny who had been in the house when Mullen saw the interview. "You don't know who I am, but I know who you are," he had yelled. "I'm going to square up with this bastard and fucking kill him." Clark had told the woman about Mullen's real identity, and she'd seen guns in the house. His outburst scared her so much that she'd felt compelled to act. She went straight to the Redcliffe police and asked to speak to detectives. "If it is Mullen," Harry said, "we need to plan how to take him out. The code name for this operation is Flashdance." John and I looked at each other. I already had the feeling that this wasn't like other raids, and I could tell from John's expression that he felt the same. "Okay," I said. "Let's start on the operation order." "You need to think about who you want to go in," John said, looking at me intently. "Make sure they're the right blokes." I knew what he meant. I needed to pick the best of the group, men who were focused and switched on, who wouldn't take a backward step. The TRG had executed hundreds of forced entries and responded to numerous sieges, but had never fired a shot in anger. "There's a fucking good chance this is going to go hot, Banksy." My journey to this point had been a path not trodden by many cops. I'd always wanted to work in areas that were full of action and excitement. That urge had taken me at the age of 21 into deep undercover, where I'd been changed forever. After I returned to the world of normal policing, I'd needed to find that addictive rush of adrenaline again. The next logical step for me was to seek out the world of special weapons and tactical operations. Fear and exhilaration are blood brothers. That's what drives risk. I should have been careful what I'd wished for. Chapter 1. Taringa, 1984. The Taringa Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB, might have begun as my exile from the drug squad, but it became my salvation instead. From the day I started at the police academy as a 16-year-old cadet in 1975, I'd wanted to be a super cop and to work in the drug squad to fight the drug trade, which I saw as an immense evil. After I'd been on the road in uniform for almost 3 years, I volunteered and was accepted for deep undercover work in the drug squad. Little did I know on my first day how it would ultimately change me. I transformed from a non-drinking, idealistic young recruit to a binge-drinking, pot-smoking undercover cop. I masqueraded as a heroin dealer, a gunman, a bikie associate, or whatever cover each operation demanded. I lost the innocence I'd once possessed, but in return, I gained a more realistic understanding of the world, as challenging as that reality was. It was no longer simply black and white, but became shades of grey. Not all crooks were bad, and not all cops were good. The only police I could trust were my circle.